Give me 3 books of stamps and I will do your job every single month. Taken aback, I asked the prisoner to clarify. I'm sorry, what did you say? Give me 3 books of stamps, he said, every single month, and I will do your job in the kitchen. That conversation came 12 days into my federal prison sentence on May 9th, 2008. I was walking down to the chow hall when I was interrupted by this prisoner with that proposition or offer. I said to him, I haven't even been assigned a job yet. And he said, no. I just checked the call out list. You've been assigned a job in the kitchen. I said, well, I'm walking down there right now to eat. He said, don't show up for that job. 3 books of stamps every month, I'll do it. Now, I'll be 47 next month. I spent my 30s making up for terrible decisions of my 20s. In prison, I resigned to stop the bleeding, to begin making matters better for those that love and support me, and to become introspective and to better understand the choices I made that led me astray and hurt so many people. And that's when I knew in my mind that I would no longer accept short-sighted offers like that, because I wanted to contribute to this community. And I didn't want to be so damn lazy that I couldn't do my job in the kitchen, which I did, which was scrubbing pots and pans. Well, what about Elizabeth Holmes? If she's convicted, and if she's convicted despite what a lot of people have said on our YouTube channel, if she's convicted, she's going to prison for a while. She exercised her right to go to trial. If convicted, she's going bye-bye for a while, which means in prison, she's going to have to work. Sure, she can choose the short-sighted, entitled, privileged route of paying someone to do her job, potentially getting caught, getting a disciplinary infraction, making matters worse. She can be lazy and not work, or she can choose to do the right thing and contribute. So if she chooses to work, what will her job be? I'm going to cover what her job in federal prison may be if she's convicted. And before I do, thank you so much to all of you for choosing to spend some of your limited, precious time on the White Collar Advice channel. We're all very grateful that you rely on us as a resource. So if you do find value in this work, please like, subscribe, and comment. And if there are things you'd like to do better, please let us know. We're always willing to take feedback, even that tough criticism. That's how you get better in life. With that said, let's transition into the type of job Elizabeth Holmes will have in prison if she is convicted. During the 2 weeks that it takes for Elizabeth Holmes to be assigned a job, she should be incredibly proactive, lobbying her case manager for a job that she has found in and around the compound. So that can include working in education, checking out books, working in recreation, checking out tennis rackets and tennis balls. The reason she should be proactive is because the initial job she may get in that first 4 or 5 months can be very humbling, difficult, somewhat traumatic. And I'll get into that in a moment. To pay, Elizabeth Holmes in the Tier 1 job would earn 15 cents an hour. Technically, you're paid for 8 hours a day, but many jobs simply take an hour or two, some less. There are some prisoners that will work the full 8 hours in jobs like in the commissary, being a town driver, which comes with a lot of responsibility. The benefit to that is much higher pay. There are a number of prisoners who take on 5, 6, or 7 jobs because they need the money. America has 5% of the world's population, but we warehouse 25% of the potential prisoners, mostly nonviolent drug offenders who are serving very lengthy prison terms, and they don't have money coming in. They don't have resources. So they'll do these jobs to make more money simply so they can buy granola, sweatpants, cough medicine in the commissary. Most prisoners, however, will try to find a job that's 2 or 3 hours. She's going to want a very desirable job so she can kind of check out the tennis racket, but also focus on her appeal. And no doubt if she's convicted, she will be appealing. Odds are, unfortunately for her, as we go to our trusted screen share, she is going to be assigned a job as an orderly. And let's talk about what that orderly job would be. Now, there is a long-term prisoner whose job is to assign all of the orderly jobs. It could be cleaning the floors, the TV room, emptying the trash, cleaning the microwave, pretty easy stuff. A devastating job for some could be the case for Elizabeth Holmes, as if the head orderly assigns her to scrub toilets and showers. Now, some prisoners, if she did that, not even a choice, if she's assigned that job and she does it, no doubt some prisoners would respect her for doing it, because a lot of people don't. And that's when they go back to the guy and say, did you offer me 3 books of stamps to do my job? Forget what I said. Here's the 3 books. It's all good. Thanks. That happens at times once people hear what their job actually will be. So for her to scrub toilets and showers would be humbling. It would be hard. It's a job that comes with a lot of accountability because people actually expect it to be clean. It's not something that you can just fake your way through it. It's either clean or it isn't clean. So there's no doubt the hardest job in federal prison, in my opinion, for Elizabeth Holmes, earning just 15 cents an hour, would be getting assigned a job of scrubbing toilets and showers inside of that federal prison. Another option could include working in the kitchen. Number of jobs in the kitchen, from working as a cook at 4 a.m., which comes with a lot of responsibility, pays more because you're cooking the food for the whole compound, but also because you really have access to utensils that some prisoners could sneak out of the chow hall to cook upstairs, potential violence. There is a job of serving food 3 times a day in the buffet line, as they call it. That job could be tough for a new prisoner because a longer term prisoner may say, give me more food, give me more cake, give me more whatever it is they're serving that day. And prisoners serving food for their job are told not to. Everyone's supposed to be treated the same way. But if you feel pressured from a long term prisoner to give more food, what do you do? That's a decision she's going to have to make. Other jobs in the kitchen are taking the tray and washing them off, putting them through the dishwasher, taking the utensils, putting them in the dishwasher. Probably one of the harder jobs, just because it's more, scrubbing and wiping and cleaning, is the pots and pans. I will acknowledge some of you may laugh at me and dislike and consider me privileged and entitled, which I was before I went to prison. I will acknowledge it was hard scrubbing the pots and pans. I know I had a desk job as a stockbroker for a long time, and I'd never done work like that. So I will own it that it was hard, as embarrassing as that is to admit on YouTube, but I'm glad I did it. And it helped me build character, and it helped me find a sense of perspective of how good I had it and how other people have had to work so hard throughout their life. So I'm glad I did it. And it's still sort of embarrassing for me to acknowledge how hard it was. I hope if she's scrubbing pots and pans or scrubbing toilets and showers, she finds a sense of perspective and gratitude with how much she has and how much still remains in her life, because she still has it better than most. Continuing on, education. It's a great job in prison. It's a great job in prison. If she can get past the first 4 to 5 months of working in the kitchen or scrubbing toilets and showers, she should apply for a job in education. Why? Well, it's a great chance to give back. I taught a class in prison and I loved it. And it actually wasn't my job. I just volunteered to teach it. So even if it doesn't get approved as her job, she should still do it. But if it is her job, she should teach a class about something. Now, I know many of you will say there's nothing she can teach. Everything she did was from deceit and fraud. And some of you will never be swayed. It doesn't change that at some point in her life, she had some success and she was persuasive. There are some good things she did, as much as many of you will disagree with that. But also, she's had experiences in life that many of her fellow prisoners could never imagine. The wealth, the success, the raising money, of building a business, of getting admitted to a school like Stanford. She's had experiences in life. She's traveled. I mean, how many of you watching this may have gone on a trip somewhere and it changed your life? That happened with a number of my friends with whom I played baseball through high school and college at USC. Wow, I've seen the whole world. I'm outside of my bubble. She can educate and inspire women. And I really believe that. And I hope in time she finds a job in education and finds a way to create what I want her to create, a win-win. I want her to help others and I want her to help herself. That's when her prison term will not feel like an eternity. I know that sounds a little philosophical and corny to some of you, but I believe it. I really believe that she's in a position to do that. Continuing on, Unicor. Unicor is a potential job that pays a lot more money. And Unicor is a desirable job because, yes, you make more money. It comes with more responsibility. It's really an 8-hour job. It's a factory within the prison that makes things for the prison and for the federal government. It's real like manual labor. Some people really like it because they're outdoors, they're building things, they're creating things. But also when you're working 8 or 9 hours a day like that, you don't really feel like you are in prison. The downside is if you're working in Unicor on a job that you're not really developing a skill, the downside is you may release from prison without skills to succeed. Some people in prison do have jobs only to pass the time because it makes them feel as if they're not in prison. So if Elizabeth Holmes chooses to work for Unicor, she may be making clothes, electronics, office products, and so much more. As aforementioned, town driver is a very coveted job because it comes with a great deal of responsibility. Some prisoners will take this job because it can be appealing to staff. And it can show staff that you can accept this level of responsibility. And with that may come more rewards for the prisoner, like extra halfway house time, more email minutes, or more commissary. generally better housing assignment. More benefits will accompany doing jobs that have a great deal of responsibility. Whatever job she has, let me close with a cautionary tale. If she's working in agriculture, if she is emptying the trash, if she's working in laundry, handing out sheets and pillows, there will inevitably be some prisoners who are not doing their job. An irony of prison is you actually may pay someone to do your job, and the person you pay doesn't actually do the job, and you can't say anything, or you shouldn't say anything because then both of you would get into trouble. Another problem is when people don't do their job, you end up having to do their job. And it's frustrating. Very common in the kitchen, very common as an orderly. A lot of people are going to say, hell no, I ain't scrubbing toilets and showers. So the person ends up doing their work. And they may be frustrated, and sometimes they run to staff. So I try to avoid prison parlance or vernacular in this channel, though I have to use it. They will be called a tattletale or a snitch if they run to staff to say that someone isn't doing their job. In this warped world of prison, what happens is the person who doesn't do their job will get a disciplinary infraction, but because they haven't been doing their work. But the real person that will get into trouble will be the person who told them. And Lessons from Prison, a book I worked on while I was in prison. The book is free at White Collar Advice. Do not buy it. In chapter 21, I write about a prisoner who told on another prisoner, and he found feces and urine in his sheets. Hell of a way to adjust to prison, to go to bed with feces in your sheets, but it happens. Elizabeth Holmes has to recognize this is a brief period in her life. At some point it will end. She will not be getting a life sentence. And she has to somehow become stoical. She has to focus on what she can and cannot control. She can't control that first job. Most likely she cannot. She cannot control her bunk or her bunkie, when she can visit, when she can call home, when she can email. A number of things she cannot control. She can't control her attitude and how she wants to let this experience define the rest of her life. Because she has an infant. She has a baby. Someday this baby's going to grow up and look back on her mom with all of this press coverage and assess, how did she get through it with her dignity intact? Or by claiming, blaming, and excusing, deflecting and dodging. It's an opportunity for her, and one I hope she takes advantage of, because there are hidden benefits to this prison experience. There are. You got to find them. You got to want it, and you got to want to improve your legacy. And I'll close by saying, regardless of what her job is, her task is to not let her sentence become a life sentence. Too many people in prisons, they serve 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They never overcome it. 10, 20, 30 years from now, they're still talking about it. It turns out to be a life sentence. Somehow, some way, it's got to be a blip in her life that doesn't define the rest of her life. But it only starts by somehow, some way acknowledging, I'm going to make the most of this experience and find a way to get back. Some of those lessons helped me. They help our clients at White Collar Advice. And I hope it's something she's able to aspire to do. And if I could do it, anybody can do it. Again, happy holidays. Thank you to all of you for watching this channel and for subscribing and liking. And I look forward to returning in the new year with more content. Again, happy holidays to all of you. Thank you. Goodbye.